fish oil, vitamin C, biozinc, ivermectin. An hour since I ate, fatty meal. Let's do it. So I buy this over the counter here in Thailand, which I'm very grateful that I'm able to do that. One of the chief medical officers in the Royal Hospital in Bangkok said it can't hurt. He obviously didn't listen to the CDC where it's potentially lethal. Okay, stop using animal medication, y'all. 3 pills, 18 milligram. So yeah, he said can't hurt, can't do any bad, and some pharmacists decided to sell it over the counter. So I'm really lucky. What can I say? Lucky to be living in Thailand. For many reasons, I'm lucky to be living in Thailand. But the freedom to buy ivermectin and try to manage my own health, albeit the junta military government is also trying to manage my health by mandating lockdowns and mask wearings, like that ever worked, okay, and ban the beach where you've got UV light, but hey ho. For stupid people, they really are clever. Hello everyone, I'm back. This is my 17th weekly dose of taking ivermectin. However, it's not going to be a weekly dose anymore. I've decided to change my regimen, and instead of once a week, I'm switching to once every 10 days. Reason for doing so is because after a certain amount of weeks, I believe like 14 weeks or something, your body has built up due to the ivermectin, the compound of the ivermectin, more resistance that lasts longer. So that's one reason. Also, I just don't feel like taking any kind of medication long term is a good idea. I'm not fearful of taking the ivermectin, but I just don't think that I should be dependent on it. And I want to slowly kind of switch away. So once every 10 days for maybe a month or two, and then switch to once a fortnight, and then completely stop taking it unless I have the sniffles or I wake up feeling a bit unwell, and then I'll take it. And then the following day, if I'm still feeling unwell, I'll take another dose. There's a lot on the internet that you can find about that, and I'll put some comments in the description box kind of explaining that you could take prophylactically as a preventative measure or as medication for recovery. So I think I'm going to switch to an ideology of where I'd rather have it in my toolbox for recovery. Yeah, so that's why there was no video a few days ago. It's actually my 18th time of taking ivermectin, because I did have a case like that, I think between the 6th and 7th, I don't remember anymore, where I was feeling midweek, I was feeling really drained, so I took an extra dose, and it was over nothing. It may have been, I don't know. I've got no proof. I don't go and test my antibodies or anything like that. For all I know, I may have had the unmentionable by now. I just ate a fatty meal. My wife, she was phoning me. I was out working till late, and she's phoning me, when are you coming home? I said, maybe an hour. After an hour, when are you coming home? I said, okay, maybe half an hour. I'll phone you when I'm in a taxi. And the surprise was she wanted to cook me a steak just as I walked through the door and present it to me, and it was amazing. It was very, very tasty, and I'm very, very lucky. So in an hour's time from now, I'm going to take my ivermectin. I still take the labeled dosage, which is 0.2 milligram per kilo of body weight. I'm around 97 kilos, so it's more or less 18 milligrams, 3 tablets. Fatty meal, because it's fat soluble, you want it to enter your bloodstream. Before I forget, I was watching, I really forget his name, Dr. John Campbell maybe, he's from the UK. I don't watch too many of his videos because he's very pro-vaccine, even though he admits that the testing on it, that the side effects, more's coming to light, that its efficacy is reducing and requires booster shots for which we've got no clinical trials. So he acknowledges all of those, but still pushes that we should get herd immunity, which you don't get using the vaccine, right? Because people with the vaccine still spread it. So it doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm not okay with that. And I'm not okay with discovering things after the fact, and you can't undo what people have done. I think it's Moderna has been banned in Finland for everyone, and then in France for under 18s, in Denmark, Norway, and Sweden for under 30-year-olds. So if you were 27, you took it 2 months ago, oops, right? For blood thinning, blood clotting, myocarditis, which, by the way, is the heart inflammation, heart damage that cannot be undone. All they can do is prevent it from getting worse, temporarily. Your heart could go in any time. Have you seen what's happened with sports personalities dropping dead and dropping in the middle of a game with a heart attack? Happened to a Barcelona player, a lady doing a triathlon in the middle of the swim. They had to fish her out. She had a heart attack and drowned. A referee in one of the basketball games falls down, drops dead. A basketball player falls down on his face, smashed his face in. It looked quite horrific, but he didn't die, but heart attack. But apparently that's due to stress of lockdowns. Okay? And then the other thing I wanted to quickly mention was in Japan. They had a massive upsurge, their third wave. And this is the John Campbell thing. He brought it to light, even though I knew about it. And what was interesting is on August the 13th, they decided to use ivermectin as part of their treatment and prevention. There was a few more days of spiking and then dropped off a cliff. And Japan right now, one of the lowest rates on the planet. The only other one similar to that are some African nations where ivermectin is used as medication for its proper usage. And then there are people looking at the situation in Japan, which is, I mean, fabulous. And people are looking at that situation trying to say, well, it's mutated into so many little mutations and just died off like the SARS-1 from 2002, 2003 that killed 900 people and poof, disappeared. Or that the Japanese, because they are so interbred, they haven't mixed for thousands of years, their immune has developed in such a way that it will kill the virus. Okay, well, let's say it does. So you're not hospitalized or you don't die from it, but you still get it. You still transmit it. So I don't find those plausible. They're just trying to whitewash the effectiveness of this, just like Pfizer can do a clinical trial on their oral medication and say it's effective, preventative 50%, and for recovery 78%, whatever it might be, using less than 1,000 people, and all the other clinical trials with this stuff is just not accepted. No, that's not good enough. No one's knocking on Pfizer's door and saying, on Pfizer's door and saying, can you do the same one using this and give us the results? And even these results, we know from the whistleblower, a lady a few weeks ago who was fired from one of the labs responsible for testing the vaccine. Even from that, we know that we cannot be confident with the results that they publish. And this is really the rest of my talk, which is the madness all around me of people just cannot connect the dots. And no everything's just irrational. I have conversations with people, and so we talk about circular reasoning, and it's like, okay, so the FDA admitted that myocarditis is a 1 in 5,000 risk for young males. 1 in 5,000. But that they should still take the jab with herd immunity and grandma in mind. And then, so that's with the one hand, and then on the other hand, they admit that vaccinated people are still spreading it. Therefore, there isn't herd immunity. So you just contradicted yourself with a reason as to why young males should be jabbed. And also, let's remember that the cost-benefit analysis is always done for an individual, never the community at large. You've got the madness of what's going on in Austria. Now, Germany are looking at lockdowns. I've got a friend in England, oh, we don't wear masks anymore, we're free to go to the pub. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's right now. You know, everything is reacting to today. Today was different to yesterday, and tomorrow's different to today. But these people, instead of understanding that every day things are changing like they would over a decade, they react to today. So, one vaccine and two vaccines so can travel and be safe. Oh, now it's I won't go to hospital if I get it, but I can still get it, and I need a booster. But you didn't need a booster 6 months ago. You're going to be immune, and immune is no longer associated with vaccines. So change terminology, and now, you know, so today we're happy, we don't wear a mask and we're free. Okay, well, infection rates are through the roof, you're going to have the booster, that's not going to work, and back to lockdowns. Who knows? Yeah, what are you going to say then? Will you vaccinate your kids? No. Why not? Because I don't know what the long-term health impacts could be. I don't know what the risks of long-term impacts, what the risks are of long-term negative impacts. Yeah, I do know the risk of the virus to my kids, and it's minute. So if the risk of adverse events in the long term, not the short, immediate term, if the risks are more significant than the virus, then of course not. Of course I won't. Well, what if the school says that they can't come back to school if they're not vaccinated? Well, I'll fight the school. I'll try and find other parents on board, and I'll try to sue the school, and I'm already preparing for homeschooling. Oh, but homeschooling, the teachers won't come if you're not vaccinated. Right, I'll find another school. You know what? I'll take them out of the school education altogether. Who needs it? Brainwashing. Who needs it? Oh, but you can't go on holiday. Right. All right, kids. I'm going to jab you all with something that I don't know how it's going to affect you long term, so we can go on holiday. You all right with that, Eden? No. Why not? You want to go on holiday, don't you? Come on, then. Let's do the injection, son. Ema, phone the doctor. Tell him to come here with the booster shots also. Rena. You want the Pfizer or Moderna? Which vaccine you want? No. You don't want any? You can't go on holiday. You don't want... Okay. Okay, no holiday for my kids. Selfish little brats. And I'm the crazy one. It's maddening. So I was having a conversation. This is really what I want to talk about. Now, I've got no notes. It's all off the fly, off the cuff. And so I'm having a conversation with one of my suppliers. And it's like a repeated conversation. It's like every time I talk, it's like for the first time, more or less. But they're very interested in what I have to say. But I think it kind of goes from one level to another. And then all of a sudden, you're at this level where it suddenly looks like, oh, it's too daunting, all of this information. But for me, I say never let a good... a crisis go to waste, right? So I don't believe that this pandemic was intentionally released. I do believe it came from a lab. I do believe that it's racist to say that it's from a wet market, and from a lab is not racist. And there's a lot of evidence to point that way, but that aside. In the beginning, they were bashing Trump. Oh, you don't need to wear masks, Fauci. What's her name? Nancy Pelosi. Okay, walking in Chinatown in San Francisco or San Diego or wherever it is without a mask. It's racist to have lockdowns from Chinese people. Yeah, and the WHO said it's not a pandemic and it's not spreading human to human and all of that. And then when they suddenly, you know, the cabal, someone responsible, who they all answer to, realized, oh, there's a bigger opportunity here. Trump's small fry. Talking about the New World Order over here. So what do I mean by that? Let me explain. Artificial intelligence, AI, is leading to mass eradication of low-skilled jobs. So taxi drivers, Tesla, a driverless car, and then they can make it that it's a bench for 3 at the front, 3 at the back, so it's 6 people in one taxi. It's a smart taxi, all connected on, so no wastage, it's very efficient, no driver. That's tens of millions of people unemployed. You go to restaurants now, you walk in, there's no menu, there's no one to greet you, right? There's a screen telling you which table to go to, and then you use the app for ordering the food. This robot comes with the trays, you take your food, you finish, and then you pay on your phone. So no cash, no human. These are jobs gone. There's a shopping mall that we go to, and it's got like this big buffing cart, okay? It's almost the size of like a golf cart. And it's still got the seat, it's still got the steering wheel, it's still got like a gear knob, but no human driving it. It's off on its own, like those round robots, the vacuum cleaners that know where they've been in your house, okay? Like one of those. GPS, I don't know what it's got, and it's working 24 hours, and the poor sod that used to sit on that, buffing the floor, is out of a job. There's a farm just outside of New York, 5,000 square meters, indoor, 43 employees. I know because I want to do hydroponics and aquaponics, and I'm researching it all, learning a lot about it. It's very, very good. When I was a kid, they were talking about world population is too much, we're going to have starvation because we can't have enough food. There's always this, now it's the climate change and we're destroying the environment and there's too many humans and we need to depopulate. So again, this depopulation thing. You've got that everything is expensive in life. Everything. And it's like, how did prices just skyrocket when we were promised that more competition and prices will go down? There's less competition and prices have gone up. And things are coming from all over the world instead of local, but there's global warming. And what's the net result? People don't want to have kids because they can't afford kids. And if they do want kids, they only have one because they can't afford 2. In China, they just released the figures. Lowest birth rate in 43 years. Their population is much bigger than it was 43 years ago, yet now they've got a lower birth rate than they had 43 years ago when you only allowed 1 child per family, and today they allow 3. They upped it to 2, and then this year they upped it to 3. And the number one reason young people don't want to have kids is because it interferes in their lifestyle and they can't afford it. Okay? So there we go, more depopulation. Bill Gates said, this is going to be deleted now. I'm not going to say it, but eugenics Bill, his dad, okay, through better healthcare, abortion, and vaccination, we can decrease the global population by 15 to 20%, instead of it growing to 9 billion by 2050. 5.5 billion by 2050. Fantastic. Why? Because of AI. AI. The masses, the underclasses, the underprivileged, the impaired, the low IQ, whatever you want, okay, are not going to get into the field of employment. And they will vastly outnumber the elites. And the elites, they need to disarm you. They need to control you. Because they don't want the French Revolution. Eugenics Bill, I think he's worried about off with his head, right? And they know where this is going to lead. Remember when we had 3G technology? In fact, in 2G, they're already talking about 4G, and that will be streaming in real time without any delay, and it's going to revolutionize the world, and your refrigerators are going to talk to your smartphone and order from the supermarket, and all of this stuff. And they knew it was going to be a revolution. Well, AI is going to do the same. They know it. And they know it's dangerous to them if they don't take preventative actions. So, they look at the China model. How can 964 families control 1.5 billion people? Social credit, No more paper money, all digital money. This vaccine passport, Freedom Pass, Green Pass, Pfizer, Shizer Pass, whatever you want to call it, on your phone as an app and have to go and scan a security. You know what? A biochip. Biochip better transmit your health, your medical condition. You don't need to see a doctor every year. Doctor, check do I have cancer? Right? No, it does it for you. Why wouldn't you want that? That's fantastic. Right? It's for your benefit. And if you get a virus, you don't want to give it to grandma and kill her and know that she died because you refused a biochip and you didn't know you had the virus and you gave it to her, you selfish person. Right? So it's to your benefit. Plus, it'll have like a barcode scanner reader, so you can just walk into somewhere. They don't need the security. You don't need to get your phone out. And anyone who doesn't want it is selfish and should be a second-rate citizen and should be denied their rights. So, you speak out against it. You say it's tyrannical, it's tyranny, it's anti-freedom. Wake up, people! And then you're at not the supermarket, because you can't go into the supermarket. In fact, you can't even leave your house, so you ordered a takeaway that they have to leave at your front entrance, okay? But you're ordering the takeaway and you're looking at your phone and you go to pay and it says wallet empty. Your social credit score 0 because you spoke out. So these elites flying to Davos in private jets, telling us about climate change, 3,000 of them, they've doubled their wealth whilst we've been decimated, are telling us we'll owe nothing and we'll be happy. How about you owe nothing and be happy? How about what we have lost the last 2 years and you've gained? You know what? Fair play. You didn't ask the government to institute lockdowns. Let's just imagine that they didn't, say, hey, can we have some lockdowns to kill off the competition? All right? They're innocent victims and the middle class are innocent victims. Okay? So take your earnings from any earnings above what you earned 2019, redistribute it to all of those who earn less of what they earned in 2019. Why should taxpayers' money be doing it? Taxpayers' money of the middle class is then being borrowed so the kids of the middle class will pay for their parents to be bailed out of decisions that the government made that made them poor and not middle class anymore whilst the rich got richer. And I'm not a socialist, but I'm not a crony capitalist either. And I'm not okay with it. And I'm glad I live in Thailand. Damn right, I'm glad. And my outlook for those of you in the West is grim. I have a friend, I keep telling you, I have a friend, he's very optimistic. He thinks that the American people are on it. They know they've woken up and heads are going to roll. I hope he's right. I really, really hope he's right. In the meanwhile, I'm planning for the worst. You know the meaning of life? For me, is to bring up a family, to raise a family better than I was raised. That's it. Better than I was raised. If my kids grow up better than I was raised and raise their family better than I raised them, then my life was a success. And that's what I'm trying to do. I want that my kids have the foundation enough to get them by for whatever happens, whatever's thrown at them, and to never lose sight that the purpose of life is to bring up their kids better than I brought them up, and to make sure that their kids know that also. The pyramids were built. We all know they were built. We don't know how. We cannot build them. We have no idea how, but they were built, which means at some point the knowledge was there. And between then and now, the knowledge was lost because it wasn't passed down to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. So the primary lesson that I can teach my kids is the meaning of life, and that's all I want them to teach their kids, to pass down. Whatever else, that's up to them. But that's the primary thing. Of course, God, believe in God. God created everything for us. When you see a butterfly, okay, it's not a butterfly, it's God's wonders. A beautiful caterpillar metamorphoses into a beautiful butterfly for our pleasure. So there's a way of looking at things. There's also a way of looking at, for example, doctors, right? They're still humans. How many doctors are in it to save lives, and how many doctors are in it because it's good money? So yeah, that's my rant. I'm sure many of you watching, if you're regulars to my channel, it sounds funny. I never started to be a YouTuber. I just want to get things off my chest. I don't even think I'm a YouTuber, but I feel like I've made friends that I've never met through this medium. A lot of your comments I love very much. But you know already that what can we do? What is this? Just talking about God's works, and what was that? It's like multicolored fly of some sort. Anyway, try to communicate with people. Try to educate people, but don't lose sight of you still got to live your life. You still got to make the most of your life. You still got to take care of what's special to you. And if other people are going to jump off a cliff in a time of crisis, I think, I don't know. I have a lot less to do with family and friends because I worry for them and I love them, but I gotta take care of my family and myself. Situation here in Thailand, I don't think it's as bad as in other places, even England, where you don't have to wear a mask anymore and we're all going to the pub. Yeah, right now, fine. You're all injected with a poison, but that's fine. This is an eye-opener. It's a wake-up call. The war against this and the war of information against this, when this can save millions of lives and prevent millions of lives, humans, from being test dummies. It's a war. It's a crime against humanity. And I hope my friend is right, and I hope heads will roll, and I hope you all stay well and keep your sanity. Don't worry about the neighbours questioning you why you won't get the miracle jab and jab your kids. And he's landed on me again, this thing. It's just gone. And if you've got questions on this, I can answer you a little bit, but actually you're much better to look on DuckDuckGo and just take out the digits from this that I'm spelling out to you. Take out the numbers, okay? F1, L2, C3, C4. How many C's were that? There should be 3 C's. 1 F, 1 L, and 3 C's, okay? Alliance. And you'll find all the information you want. There's also another great website. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it's about all the adverse effects all over the world and studies all over the world. I'll make a note of that. I'll find it. I'll make a note and maybe talk about it 10 days from now. Okay, keep safe and remember, wear your masks.